everybody, welcome back to House of Lineage. I'm Chantel, and on today's video I am super excited to be sharing with you some quick, simple, easy and best of all cheap Easter DIYs that you too can do to help decorate your house this Easter season. Now, all of these things you may already have laying around your home, and if so, that is great. But don't worry if not, I got all of today's products from my local Poundshop. So if these are things that really interest you, then do consider decoupaging that like button, hit subscribe, and make sure you stay tuned till the end to see the final products.
Okay, for this first DIY you're going to need some material. I'm using a pillowcase, but you can also use a drop cloth from the DIY section. Some stuffing either from animals or cushions you may have, but again you can buy these in store. A bit of scrap ribbon and some pinking shears. Now I like the look of this, but you can also use some sharp material scissors, whichever you prefer. And today we are going to make a cushion. So after unwrapping it, I thought that this is quite bright and I want to just make it a little bit more of a natural colour. To do this I've took 2 tea bags, popped it in a pan, boiling water, and let all that colour come on through. Give it a good whoosh around to get it all out of that bag, and then I'll be putting the pillowcase in. Now if you would like this pillowcase to be darker in colour, you just leave it in that water a little bit longer. If you want it to be lighter, again you leave it in no time at all, or you can add some water to dilute the solution. I was trying to film this and hold the camera at the same time, so it was rather difficult. Now once done, give it a good squeeze out and pop it in the dryer or on the washing line until it is dry. I then flatten it out and start drawing my stencil. Now as I said, I'm making a cushion with this. I want it to be a bunny shape, so I'm just doing quite a neutral bunny. Nothing spectacular, I'm certainly not an artist. And I don't know if you can see here the faint lines of that. If not, you will see it in a moment when it is cut out. So one last time I'm just flattening it out because I want both sides to be even, and taking those pinking shears I start to cut around my rabbit. Now what's best is I tend to leave ½ an inch or a centimetre or so around the original stencil when you're cutting out, and that just helps if you make any mistakes, and it means you're not getting too close to the design when we glue it together. Now, once we're done, I'm just going to fold it all back, and you will see I've took my hot glue gun and I'm just going to start gluing around the original stencil. Again, as I said, this is about ½ an inch or a centimetre in from the outside. So it's just a very thin glue line going around the edge and putting that second piece on top. Now you want to try and make this as even as you can, but not to worry, I do make mistakes as you'll see, and some bits are a bit crumpled, but once it's all stuffed you won't see it as much, and it all adds to the rustic feel. So you can just see I'm taking some stuff in here and I'm slowly pushing it in, and you want to get right up into those ears. To make it a bit easier as well, you can also use a long pencil or wooden spoon just to push it up right into those gaps and make sure you get right in. And then I just continue with that gluing. You can also sew if that is a preference. Gluing I find a lot quicker and easier, and a lot more people have glue to hand than they do a sewing machine. So I just continue stuffing until it's full. Do my last little bits, make sure we get right in those corners there for those little feet. And you just glue the last little hole as everything else. Now I find better to overstuff than understuff. That way you can have a good play around, otherwise you'd have to open it back up and restuff. So now that's all done, I'm just going to play around with it as I said, move that stuffing around, make sure it's even, no lumps and bumps, and just really push it about. Next I'm taking this bit of Hessian scrap ribbon I had. As I said, they do have lovely Easter ribbon at the moment in the crafting section of the Pound store. Now I decided that that ribbon, although I had folded it in half, was quite a bit thick and I wanted a bit more of a contrast. So I've just again took a bit of ribbon left over from Halloween and I'm just manoeuvring that around until I get it into the right place and cutting those ends with my pinking shears just to match the edge of the rabbit. And here is the final product. For this project we need some wooden border garden trim, a rabbit wreath and a pair of sharp scissors. First of all I'm just going to take all this tinsel off. It unravels really easily so it shouldn't take too long. There's a few tricky bits here, they keep getting snagged on the sides. But once you get going it is really quite easy just to unravel it and then all this can be put aside for another video. I am now undoing the garden trim. I'm going to roll it out and then I'm going to start pulling these little pieces of wood out. You don't really have to undo the metal because they do kind of shimmy out. If you give them a little bit of a wriggle they will just pull out at the bottom. Once you have the required mount, just put them to the side. Now you can just use the wreath for this, but I decided I could use it in another project, so I'm just getting a piece of scrap cardboard and drawing around the frame. Once I have that, I'm going to cut it out. It's a bit tricky around the ears. So now it's done, I'm going to start laying out all the wooden pieces, and as you can see I'm just using a pair of garden trimmers here. You can also use some sharp scissors and just cut those with wood sticks to the desired length. After I have a few, I'm going to use the hot glue, pop them in place. They really only take a second or two and they are stuck down. And then I'm just going to repeat this process all the way along the cardboard cutout. So you'll see me continually measuring them, giving them a snip and then gluing them down. Right, now it is all done. I've put any excess to the side and I'm getting out some of this straw again from the Poundshop. There's quite a lot in the box, I only need a little bit. And just again a little bit of hot glue around the corner just to secure it. can get a bit messy, guys, so do take that into account depending on where you're doing this project. As you can see now, I'm just getting some twine, again from the garden section, taking a few different loops. You can have as many or as little as you want, this just determines the thickness. And I am going to just put it into a rough bow. As you can see, there's nothing perfect about it, just a quick bow, bit of hot glue, pop it on at an angle. Things always seem to look better at an angle. And now I'm just taking a few pieces from varying flower bunches that you can buy in store. I've just put little branches off the end or little bits of flowers, and you can just arrange them. These do not need hot gluing in place. You can if you want to, but I've literally just put them into the straw and they hold in place really well. It also means you can use them for other projects. And this is the finished results. This third DIY, guys, you're going to need some kind of embellishment. I have these little eggs and sprinkles from the Poundshop. You want cupcake cases, a variety of glitters, and any colour paints that you wish. These can be old, new, craft, acrylic, some expanding foam, and some cork filler. Now open those cupcake cases up, pop them on a tray. Remember, this can get messy, so think about where you're going to do it. Give the expanding foam a good old shake and start spraying. Now you only want to be putting a quarter into each case, because remember, this will be expanding. I left these overnight. I find that quite best. Now taking your cork filler, you're going to cut this top off. I'm using a craft knife. Just be careful. And then you want some kind of container. I'm just using the lid, but any kind of container. Just remember that whatever you use, you cannot eat from. Take your desired coloured paint. And you only need a little bit in there, not too much. Again, the more you put in, the darker the colour, the less you put in, the lighter the colour. And then give it a good old mix up. Once you're happy with your desired result, you can scrape it all over this cupcake top, just to make sure that when you do pipe, you're not getting any gaps. Next, take these disposable food tip bags. And I'm using a metal end. That's just because I can rewash this real easy. Again, depending on which tip you use will affect the end result of how your cupcakes will look. To make it less messy, I'm just folding down this piping bag as close as I can to the tip, and then start scooping in all that coloured cork. You want to be sure to wash these as soon as you finish with them, as they will go hard and it means you won't be able to use the tools again. Now when you pipe with anything, you just want to make sure that is all the way down the bag, get it nice and tight and start to squeeze. I am no cake decorator, as you can see. It is quite messy, but you know what? It all adds to the look. Sprinkle some glitter on. Glitter makes everything better. And then I'm just taking some of these little pearlescent beads and just popping them on. As you can see, my approach to just flinging them at the cake works great. It does stick into that corking, and obviously in a few days it will be fully hard to use. And here is cupcake number 1. Another demonstration here. As you can see, I'm just going around and round. I keep squeezing just to get the last little bits out. And this time I'm going with a different glitter, and I'm going to top off my cake with some of those foam Easter eggs that can be found in the Easter section of the Poundshop. These make such cute decorations in your home. Great for photo opportunities as well. Everyone thinks you have some yummy cakes when really you have faked it. I'm going for some sprinkles now. And one last go to show you a completely different colour. I went for a really bright lime green. This really worked well with the Easter theme. And again, I'm using these little carrot decor from the Easter section. And here they are, just a selection of the different colours and the way you can decorate these cakes. They look so scrubby, and it's one of my favourite projects to do.